Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel, Analista de la Liga, with me, Terry Gibson, having a little preview of the weekend's action. That's the forthcoming weekend's action, and week 30, 9 games to go now in La Liga, and it's really hotting up. Plenty of teams involved in the relegation battle, the title race at the top, the race for Champions League places, and maybe European spots as well. So pretty much everybody's got something to play for with 9 games to go. So it's an exciting weekend. The international break is over. Huge disappointment for a lot of the players coming back to La Liga action, and of course success for some players. There will now be the opportunity of playing in the World Cup in the summer. So it's going to be interesting to see how all those players react. The usual circumstances regarding players that are coming back from international matches from different parts of the world. Maybe some of those have picked up an injury or two. Rafinha is the big news, I guess, from that point of view for Barcelona. So it's plenty of action to play, and some great games to look forward to ahead this weekend. The beginning of the Trilogy between Barcelona and Atletico Madrid, and that takes place this weekend. Busy weekend for me. Game on Friday in the Championship in the UK. So I'm doing Leicester City against Preston. Off to Madrid on Saturday to do Mallorca, Real Madrid, and then Barcelona, Atletico. And then I'm return on Sunday, and then I've got a game on Monday in the Championship, Blackburn against West Brom. So it's a typical Easter for someone involved in professional football, and it reminds me of my playing days. So the games are coming thick and fast. Not so much in La Liga, of course, but we do have European action next week as well. So that'll have a bearing on some of the teams, the team selections this weekend, with players returning back from international duty, with European matches coming up in midweek, some great fixtures as well. So looking forward to this weekend to see how it all pans out. One or two teams might just clear themselves away from relegation issues. One or two teams might find themselves with a little bit of hope of a top 5 finish and maybe a Champions League spot for next season. So, as I say, plenty to play for. We start on Friday evening with Rayo Vallecano against Elche. Elche got their first win this year last week against me in the last fixture against Mallorca. Dramatic circumstances, Murici missing a penalty in the last minute, Elche were losing. They come back to win 2-1. Can they get an away win for the first time this season? The only team in La Liga that haven't got an away victory. Actually, they've only got 4 points away from home, so that's probably the reason why they're flirting with relegation issues. So let's see how they can perform against Rayo, who do need points. Rayo do have a European Conference League match against AEK Athens on Thursday evening to look forward to. Played well against Barcelona last time out, just lost 1-0. Made Barcelona suffer in that game. Probably should have got something, if I'm being totally honest, from that game at the Camp Nou. So I make Rayo favourites to win this one, although the players that are returning back from international duty, and there are some at Rayo, and the fact that they've got the European Conference League makes it a little bit more complicated, but I think I'm just going to go with the poor away form of Elche. Despite getting that win, let's see. They might have a bit more confidence and might attack this with a bit more vigour than we normally see in their away matches. So that's an interesting one. I'm going to predict the home victory for Rayo in that one. On Saturday, we start proceedings with Real Sociedad against Levante. Levante had a big win against Oviedo last time out. It gives them hope, it gives them a chance, and they definitely have a chance of staying up. For Real Sociedad, they have that glimmer of hope for a top 5 spot, which is possible the way that they're playing. I mean, we've seen some really good form since the change of manager. Superb form, actually, in honest. And it's been one that's been a bit of a surprise, but when you see their players, you do wonder why they were struggling in the first half of the season. And they were disappointed last time out of Villarreal. They conceded 3 early goals. They didn't really get themselves into the game. So I'm going to go for a home victory for Real Sociedad in this one. Mallorca play Real Madrid. That's one of the Saturday games. That's next up after the Real Sociedad Levante. Mallorca, Murici's going to have to get his head up. I mean, he's been fantastic this season. 18 goals. He's primarily the only goal scorer for Mallorca. They are suffering. They're struggling. They're in the relegation spot. They lost to Elche last time out. Murici missed that penalty in the last minute. He missed out on the World Cup players with Kosovo. So someone's going to have to lift his spirits, because he is pivotal. If they've got any chance of staying up, Murici has to have a good mood about him. I'm sure he will. He's a leader, and he's going to be the main man when they face a Real Madrid team who, Yes, all their players pretty much all away on international duty. It's like mystery of why Jude Bellingham went away with England and didn't participate in any minutes in the games. But I'm sure with the game against Bayern coming up on Tuesday night, it's going to be important if they want Bellingham involved to get some playing time. Will he start? Will he be on the bench? Is he only fit for the bench at the moment? Don't know. But if they get a fit Jude Bellingham back, he's not going to be 100% before they play Bayern Munich on Tuesday, that's for sure. But, you know, if he's 75%, that helps Real Madrid's chances, not only in this game, but in the game against Bayern. So this is a tough little fixture. Mallorca got 28 points, 22 of those have come at home. So they're pretty decent at home. And despite the fact they're in the bottom three, they're competitive. They don't lose heavily. They always are in the game. De Michelis, there's been slight changes. It looks like the Mallorca of old that we saw under Aguirre rather than Arrasate. They have a chance in this game of getting something, and it's one of those big games where Real Madrid are used to it. Of course, they go away from home. For one of those teams like Mallorca, for instance, when Real Madrid and Barcelona and Atletico Madrid come to their stadium, it's a big event. So this is going to be a tough fixture for Real Madrid. And, you know, it's tight at the top. They can't afford too many mistakes. This might be one, though, where they come unstuck. So I've got a sneaky feeling that Mallorca might get a draw out of this one. So that's going to be interesting to see. Then we go on to Betis against Espanyol. Betis currently in 5th spot at the moment. They are in the run-in for the 5th place in the Champions League. They've got a hold off Celta and Real Sociedad and Getafe. Can't rule them out. Athletic Club as well. So there's a 6-point gap to those teams. 3 above Celta. Betis do need to win this game. Espanyol haven't won a game in 12. They haven't won a game this season. I can't include them in the relegation battle, but they're just not getting any points. So it's a traumatic second half of the season for Espanyol. I have no idea what their mood is. I can't imagine what it's like. That they seem like they've forgotten how to win a game of football. They lost at home last time against much improved Getafe. And all of a sudden, Getafe above Espanyol. Who would have thought that after the first half of the season? So I'm going to go for a home victory in this one. Betis do play away to Braga on Wednesday evening in the Europa League. So their mind is on that, but I think their mind is also firmly on maintaining the 5th spot and trying to get in the Champions League. So for next season, that's their next ambition. So I expect a full Betis performance in this one, not holding back. I expect them to beat Espanyol. Then we go to the big Saturday night game, Atletico against Barcelona. The beginning of the trilogy, they play again in midweek on Wednesday evening at Barcelona at the Camp Nou in the Champions League. This one's a home game for Atletico. They do have, there's a slight advantage in the fact that Atletico will probably play the B team in this game, if I'm being honest, because top 4 is pretty much assured. They're not going to do any better. They're not going to do any better than 3rd. They'll be looking to get above Villarreal, who are currently in 3rd position. But that's not the be-all and end-all. It's the cup competitions now, the Copa del Rey final, of course, against Real Sociedad, and then Barcelona midweek on Wednesday in the Champions League at the Camp Nou. So I'm going to expect loads of changes for Simeone. Still should be a strong team. Barcelona, on the other hand, with Real Madrid breathing down their necks, they can't afford to rest players and rotate. Rafinha missing. He's going to be out for 4, 5, 6 weeks. We're not sure yet. He's only just returned back from international duty with Brazil. We'll see the severity of that injury, but I think Marcus Rashford looks to be in good form. He's played well when he's come on recently for Barcelona. He's played well when he's played for England. Is this a bigger blow for Barcelona for Rafinha to be missing for this long? Of course it is. But I don't think it's a big as blow as it would have been last season. I don't think Rafinha's form has been as good this season. He hasn't reached the dizzy heights that we saw last season. And he's been injury prone this season. So, this is a massive opportunity for Marcus Rashford to step up and be such an important player and leave a mark on Barcelona. Whatever happens at the end of the season, leave a mark at Barcelona that he can contribute. So this game away from home against Atletico Madrid, hugely important for Barcelona in terms of La Liga, and then the Champions League match on Wednesday. So it's a marvellous opportunity for Marcus Rashford. We'll see how that happens. Barcelona will play their strongest team. They have to. I'm just going to go for a Barcelona. Atleti don't lose many games at home, But it'd be interesting to see the lineup that Simeone picks. That might favour Barcelona slightly. And I'm going to go for a narrow victory for Barcelona. Don't ask me yet about the Champions League. That could go either way, of course. But because of the circumstances with the midweek game, I'm going to go for a Barcelona victory, narrow Barcelona victory. Then we have Getafe against Athletic Club starting the games on Sunday. Getafe won 3 of the last 4. The only defeat was away to Atletico Madrid. They were down to 10 men. 3 of those wins, one of them includes the win at Real Madrid. They've suddenly leaped into a position where they're looking at European football. I'm not sure they want it, to be honest. I mean, half the team were on loan, and they struggled in the first half of the season because they couldn't invest money in too many players. And if they have to go through that all again next season, I think their main aim and ambition is to stay in La Liga and stay in La Liga comfortably. Now, if Bordalas he and his players will want to win games. They want to qualify for Europe. And it's likewise Athletic Club as well. It's been a disappointing season for Athletic, but they do have a real possibility of European football. So they're level with Getafe on 38 points. They're level with Real Sociedad on 38 points. So I'm going to go for a draw in this one. I think Athletic have got enough about them. They don't score many goals, but nor do Getafe. And I'm going to go for a low-scoring draw in that one. And then we come to Valencia against Celta Vigo. Now, Valencia got 23 points at home, 12 away, so they're strong at home, or stronger at home. Celta do have the big game against Freiburg in Freiburg on Thursday in the Europa League. And Celta will be bitterly disappointed that they were 3-0 up against Alaves in their last game before the international break and lost 4-3. So this is a tough one to call. I'm going to go for, if Valencia get the win, that really does take them away, probably from relegation issues completely. If they get the home win, it takes them to 38 points. It could see them 10 points clear if Mallorca lose to Real Madrid. This is a massive game for Valencia. It's a big game for Celta as well. They've got their European aspiration hopes. They are 3 points behind Betis in 5th. So they've got a chance of Champions League football next season. But I'm going to go for a home victory for Valencia. It's not going to be pretty. It isn't at the Mestalla, but they do get results. And I'm going to go for them to get a home victory here and probably banish all talk of relegation. Then we go to Oviedo against Sevilla. Oviedo, I'm afraid, are doomed after losing against Levante last time. I predicted if either team lost that game, they were probably relegated. And I think that's the case with Oviedo. So they've still had pride to play for, and they're playing against the Sevilla team who are 3 points above the drop zone. Sevilla have been forced into making a change. Matias Almeida has lost his job. Luis Garcia Plaza has stepped in. A good choice, I think, but it's not an easy job by any means. So I'm going to go for Sevilla have to win this one, but it's not going to be easy. I'm actually going to go for another draw. I think Oviedo are showing much better form under the new manager, and I think Guillermo Almada has done okay. But the job he took on, the task was too big. But I'm going to go for it's Oviedo to get something from this game. Do you know what? I wouldn't even be surprised they win this match. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Luis Garcia Plaza, what impact he has. I'm going to go for a draw. I'm going to play safe, sit on the fence, go for a draw. I think that Sevilla will have a new manager bounce and maybe just do enough to get something in this game. So a draw in that one. And then we finish with Sunday with Alaves against Osasuna. And Alaves had that wonderful comeback. Kike Sanchez Flores, he's having an impact. Made 4 changes at half time in that game when they just got back into it at 3-1. And they were fantastic. To get that win 4-3 away from home, a team that's been suffering all season, don't particularly score too many goals, to come back from 3-0 down and win 4-3 will give them a massive boost going into a game against Osasuna. Osasuna got 9 points away from home, which is not very good, so they struggle on the road. They got better in the second half of the season away from home. But I'm going to go for an Alaves victory in this one, and if Alaves get the win, that does help their relegation issues. Doesn't clear them, but it certainly helps them. And then on Monday we have Girona against Villarreal, and Girona are on the verge. I think if they could get the win in this one, I think that's them pretty much safe. But I don't think they will. I think that Villarreal, this is going to be a really good game to watch on the Monday night. 2 good teams that play good, attractive style of football. Villarreal, they would be doing everything to make sure they finish in 3rd position. The motivation is there for them. No cup football, They want to finish above Atletico Madrid. They want to finish as close as possible as they can to the top two. Champions League football looks assured for Villarreal, so they can play with freedom, they can play with confidence. I'm going to go for them to get an away victory at Girona. So as I said, that sums up the weekend's action. And as midweek, we've got the Champions League, Real Madrid against Bayern Munich, Barcelona against Atletico Madrid on Wednesday, and Europa League, Betis going to Braga, Freiburg against Celta, and Rayo Vallecano against AEK Athens. So plenty to look forward to in the week. Plenty to look forward to this weekend. Enjoy the weekend's action and see you soon.